I'm back. I'm back. It has been, I think, 9 months, or I might be wrong, 7. I think 7 or 9 months, I can't remember. And I'm so excited to be filming again. I've missed filming so much, but it's just, I didn't have the time, so I'm sorry. But yeah, we are going to be doing a glowy, glitzy Christmas party look today using all of my personal must-haves and some of my kit ones as well. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing with some tips and tricks in there. So let's do it. Mwah. I look so pale. Jesus Christ, I need to tan. I need to tan. Right, so my must-have for a glowy, hydrated base is the Vive Skin Nova. You guys know how much I love this. I think I'm on like my 4th or 5th bottle now, but this just really hydrates the skin. It makes it nice and smooth, and it just hydrates like no other primer that I've used before. Absolutely love it. Just look at that glow. So next up for smoothing the skin, this is now my ride or die. I have to use this all the time. It is the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. This is so silky. It's not your typical silicone primer. This honestly feels like silk on the skin, and it's really hydrating. It's got some skincare benefits in there as well, but I can't actually remember what. I'm nearly done, but I've got 2 more for backup. I think it's non-comedogenic, I think, as well, so it doesn't clog the pores, if I remember rightly. So moving on to foundation. This is one of my absolute favourites in my kit. My favourites are the NARS Sheer Glow. It's buildable, it's very skin-like, it's like a natural finish, but obviously you can build it to like a nice medium coverage. It doesn't go cakey, it lasts really well. Insane. So I'm going to mix Syracuse and Vienna to hopefully get my shade, but I'm pale ass bitch right now. So I'm going in with the Vive foundation brush. This is just so good. So I've got one for me and one for the kit because I love it so much. Jamie's done such a good job with these brushes. I feel like makeup artists just know what other makeup artists want from brushes, do you know what I mean? Look how nice that looks. To me, NARS just do the nicest foundations. So once you've done, like you've pressed it in with a brush, what I like to do is just get whatever's left on my hand and pounce my beauty blender into that and then just go over the skin again. This just makes it look more skin-like because it's being pressed into the skin. It's not sat on top of it, if that makes sense. And then it just makes sure that we've got no brush marks. And then you notice that I don't go under my eye, because if you put foundation under there, and then your colour corrector and then your concealer, it's just going to get cakey. That's how you get cakey under eyes. So I tend to not put anything underneath. Cream contour, we're going to snatch the face. I'm going to teach you some tips on how to get that really lifted look. Totally depends on what sort of skin tone you are, but if you're a bit more pale like me at the moment, I definitely recommend a cool tone contour and then a slightly warmer bronzer. If you're contouring, you don't want to go with anything that's orange. It's not going to look good, it's not going to look natural, it's not going to look like you're naturally snatched. Do you know what I mean? We need to make it look like, you see my natural cheekbone here? It's grey because of the shadow, so we want to emphasise that with more grey, which is what we're going to do. So my favourite greyish contour at the Mo is the Mitchell Hollow there, the blush bronze. It's really grey, as you can see. Depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I like to directly put it on the face, then sometimes I like to put it on my hand and then go in with a brush. Totally depends what mood I'm in. There's no right or wrong, but because we're going to go for a more snatched look today and I want to show you the placement, I'm going to directly put it onto my face. So we're going to go in with the grey colour first, but I do like to get just most of the product onto my hands, so you're not going to go in too crazy with the applicator because that doesn't look good. So we're going to start off quite high, like here. So just a bit higher than my natural cheekbone. And then what we're going to do, this is really good if you've got like a plump face or a small face and you want it to look longer. You want Hailey Bieber cheekbones. We all want Hailey Bieber cheekbones. So I'm quite lucky because I've got quite prominent ones anyway, but I'm just going to do it for the purpose of the video. Oh my god, if that's the postman, I'll die. Twix! False alarm. Okay, right, and then we're just going to grab the same foundation brush, but just wipe off most of the excess of the foundation onto a towel or whatever you've got. And then we're just going to really lightly blend upwards. Can you see like here? I've kind of got it, but we're just emphasising it. And we're just going to press that in to the skin. And don't worry if it's looking a bit grey or a bit crazy. We will figure it out with concealer afterwards. I like doing this before concealer because then you can fix it and make it even more prominent with concealer afterwards. Right, first step done. So if you have a long face, I do have like a longish face, but I just like to emphasise my cheekbones. But if you don't, you can just do like the placement, so you can put it here. So that just like rounds off the face nicely rather than bring it all the way down there, if that makes any sense. So you just stop your contour here, okay? And that will just lift the face up a little bit. Right, okay, now we're going to go on to cream bronze. My favourite one at the moment is the Pearl Beauty in the shade Real Depth. These are so nice, so creamy, and they're not too orange. For this one, I do like to put it on my hand. So that's the shade of that. Really nice, not too orange, a good bronzy shade. Then what I'll do is I'll just, again, go back in with that same foundation brush and then just tap the brush into my hand. And then I just like to go from my temples, go from the end of my eye up to the temples. Again, this is just bringing more focus here, making you look more lifted. Then I'm just going to pop some on the top of the cheekbones. We're not going to go down here with bronzer because obviously, as it's more warm, got a slightly deeper tone to it. We don't want to bring that down here because that's just going to look silly. Okay, so can you see how this side is just a lot more warm, got a bit more shape to it, a bit more definition. She's looking snatched. Whereas this side, she's a bit drab. Now we're going to move on to concealer. When I want a proper snatched look, I like to do concealer as the last step, just because I feel like if you do your concealer, your bronzer, and then your blusher, your concealer kind of gets lost. But obviously the concealer is a very important part of snatching the face, of lifting the face. So it's better to do that last so we don't, you know, we don't interfere the concealer with any other products. I feel like I'm not making any sense because I'm out of touch, okay? These concealers, I'm pretty sure I've used one here before, the Rare Beauty ones. Oh my god. They're always in my kit, but I kind of went on to using different ones. Sculpted by Amy Brighten Up Concealer was a massive, massive part of my kit. But then the last few months I've had a lot of people wanting full coverage, full glam. So I'm like, these are like perfect for that. I've got shades 200C and 180W. I mix these for me because one's too yellow and one's too light. But you don't really need to set them. They don't crease. They're so skin-like. The coverage is ridiculous. So I'm not going to colour correct today because I don't need to. They're so creamy. They blend out so nicely. So I haven't put any, I don't know if you can tell, but obviously where I put that contour and bronzer, I kind of left this bit here free because that's where the concealer's going to go. So this is just going to make a nice subtle line to lift the face. And then obviously here to just cover any dark circles. You really don't need a lot of this. It is so good. And then this is my favourite thing to do with concealer. You will always see me do this. This just emphasises the look of the cheekbones. oh, it's just what you need to do if you want an extra snatched look. And then down the centre of the nose. So I like to go in with the darker shade first, and then I'll go on top with the lighter shade. You don't, especially if you have grey, blue, dark under eyes, you don't want to go with anything too light, because that's just going to not really cover it, it's just going to make your under eyes look more grey. So you kind of need to go with a darker shade similar to your skin tone, and then go with a lighter concealer over the top to brighten, or just use a colour corrector, which I normally use, but because I'm using these today, I don't need to. I tend to leave the under eyes last to blend out, just so we can get more coverage. The longer it stays on your skin, the more coverage is going to stick to your skin. Well, not actually stick to it, but you know what I mean. And these concealers are good because you've got loads of playing time with them. They don't dry down, because some concealers, they dry really fast, and then you've got like a streaky mark. But if that does happen, just grab a setting spray, give a face a quick spray, and then they'll just become creamy again. Look at that, so good. Obviously we've got a really harsh line there at the minute, but I'll show you how to get rid of that in a second. We just want to make sure we're not going above our cheekbone, okay? Honestly, this brush is so good. It's like angled. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? So it goes underneath the eye really nicely. And I just like to bring it at the sides of the nose to make the nose look slimmer. And then whatever's left on the brush, this will be my eye base sponge. And then just gently tap in to just get rid of any of those lines. Okay, and then we'll go back in with the foundation brush, and then just go over the top of that concealer. Look at that, mental. Okay, so this is where I'll spray the shit out of my face. Okay, so my favourite glowy setting sprays are Urban Decay Vitamin C. Oh, so good. The Nimya Set It and Forget It, plus this smells incredible. The Sculpted by Amy Hydrate and Hold, and another one that I don't have with me is the Charlotte Tilbury. Right, so we are now going to go on to powder products. So like your powder bronzer, powder blush, blah 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 blah. This is the Vive Dimension Face Palette. This comes everywhere with me because she's just so good. Got a mirror, we've got bronzer. We've got bronzer, blushes, like 2 blushes and a highlight. This is the shade Dusk. I'll just tappity tap into bronzer, and then I just like to lightly press it in. Try not to drag, because this is when your makeup underneath will get disturbed. Whereas if you lightly press it in, it's going to look way better. I'm just basically going to put it everywhere I put the cream, just to kind of set the cream as well, and just to emphasise it a bit more, make it look a bit more bronzy. People are like, why do you do 2 layers of everything? So why do you do a layer of cream bronzer and then a powder bronzer? If you put powder bronzer directly onto your foundation, it's not going to look good. You want layers of things, so it's going to stick nicer, it's going to lay on nicer, it's going to last longer, because you're doing it in small layers rather than just chucking it on, if that makes any sense. And then what I like to do is just go down the nose, just to give me a nice snatched nose. Nothing too particular, I don't like heavy contour on my nose. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'll just drag it into the front of my brow, and then slowly go towards the temples, just so it all looks more connected. There's no disconnection of the makeup. So, powder blushes. These are new to me, but I've been using them for a few weeks, okay, and they are going in the kit. The packaging, the formula, the colours. It's called Kaleidoscope, I don't know. Look at that packaging. how incredible. So I love to mix blushes. I very rarely use one shade. So today, damn it, I don't have the shades on the back of these. I'll have to have a look online. But these are the shades. How incredible. So this is like a really nice autumnal winter berry shade. Don't know if you guys can see how gorge. And then this is like a dupe for the Dior, right? How gorge. And I just honestly tap between the two and just lightly tap it on. I like to keep my blush quite high. I don't want to bring it too close to the centre of my face because I feel like that makes my face look really small. Incredible. And I'll just keep tapping it in the skin until it's diffused nicely and until I'm happy with the shade, because right now that's a bit crazy. What you can do is you can go back in with your foundation brush and really, really, really lightly just tap it over the top. And then we move on to powder. My favourite powder of the year. I'm going to be filming my 2022 beauty favourites after this, I think, and this is going to be in it. Huda Beauty Pound Cake. Yeah, so good, really good. Right, Powder Puff, Grwm Cosmetics, best ones I've tried. Dip it into the powder, tap the excess off into my hand. I like to start on the outer corners first and then go in. Before you powder, make sure you blend out any creases of your concealer, because we don't want to set creases, obviously. Look at that difference. Incredible. So good. I like to start on the outers because that's where most of the product is going to go. You don't want to put all of that powder right underneath your eye, like in here, because that's just going to end up looking cakey. So I like to start from the outers and then work in. And then whatever's left, bring it down to your chinny chin chin. So good. And then again, just on the forehead with whatever's left. I don't like to add too much to the forehead because we've got lines there, huns. We don't want any, we don't want too much makeup going into the lines. So less product there, the better. What I like to do after this is spray my face again, let that dry, and then I'll go in with some more bronzer and blusher just to reinforce it, because I don't like to set the concealer straight away. I like the concealer to kind of sink into the skin, melt, kind of move a little bit before I set it. I just think you get a better payoff that way. So I'm just gonna spray and then I'll be right back. You're probably like, Stacey, you've just set your face with powder. This is supposed to be a glowy look. It will still be. It will still be. Like, if we're out on a Christmas party and we're getting hot and sweaty, we still want to put powder on there because we don't want the makeup to move. So that's why I do a lot of setting sprays as well, because it makes your skin look more glowy. So I've got a little bit of life back there, as you can see, and now we're going to go in with the glow. This is where we welcome the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette in the animal case. How cute. Look at that. Look at that. So this is a glowy palette. If you want a matte bronzer, matte blusher, this isn't a palette for you. This is all very glowy, as you can see. I'm going to go back in with that blusher brush, okay, because I want the glow to be all over. We're going to be quite sporadic with it. It's better to use a fluffy brush for this rather than like a small tapered one. So what I like to do is I will dip in to the highlighter shade and the two blushy shades like this. Can you see that? Oh yeah, beautiful. There we go, we're looking more glowy now. And then for some more glow, because I love this formula. This is the that Vive palette. I'm going to go in with the, was this the highlight brush? The Vive highlight brush, and I'm just going to go into that highlight shade here. I'm just going to add some more like up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Hydrating Mist because I love it. I use it every single day. So this isn't a setting mist, it's just a hydrating mist. Oh, it smells so good as well. It's a hydrating and glowy radiance mist. Okay, we're now going to do our brows. So let's zoom you in. Ready? Oh no, that's out. Are we zoomed in? Are we good to go? Okay. We are going to do a soft, bronzy, smoky wing, sparkly eye, corner eyelashes, because we still want to keep that lifted effect. A smoky wing and half outer corner lashes will do just that. My favourite thing to do on clients, I love half lashes, or I'll do individuals just on the corners just to elongate the eye. It's so flattering. So that's what we're doing. You guys would have seen this in, I think I put it in my faves of 2021 and probably used it an awful lot. This is my second palette. This is the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes. It's all I use in my kit pretty much, especially when people want a brown eye. Blends out lovely. All the browns you could possibly want. Stunning. So my eyes are already prepped with the Rare Beauty concealer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this creamy shade right here, which is similar to my actual eye shade, just to kind of mattify it down, get rid of any of that creasing from the concealer, just to smooth it out. Or you can use an eye base. What I use in my kit is the P. Louise eye base, but on me I just find it easier just to whack concealer on there. Okay, fabulous darlings. I'm actually going to use bronzer first. I love to do this when I like to shape the eye first before I put any actual eyeshadow on. So I'll grab a bronzer. I'm going with the one from Vive, and I'll grab like a small fluffy brush, kind of like this one here. Can you see? And I'm just going to go with the bronzer, and I'm going to do a fake crease with it, if you will. If you hold the mirror down, okay, and then you can kind of see where your natural eye socket is. And I just like to emphasize that with a bronzer. Okay, and then I'll grab a clean, fluffy brush, like a bigger one, like this one, and then just blend it out. So this is just giving the illusion of a fake socket. Make sure I look bigger than it is. And then what I will do is I'll just get a slightly bigger, fluffier brush and just pop some on the outer corners here. And then just wing it out a little bit. And then I just like to bring it to the top of the brow to connect to that bronzer that I put on down the bridge of my nose, just so it's all connected. So we've got the catfish bit out of the way, okay? We're now going to go back in with the eyeshadow palette, and we're just going to deepen the outer corner, make it a little bit more smoky. So I'll just go back in with that little fluffy small brush that I used to do the bronzer up here. I like to mix, so my favourite one is obviously here, as you can see, this one and this one, and then just a tad of her, and then you just really want to focus it on the outer corner. Smoke it out, so this is going to lift the face, and I'll just keep going in with a clean fluffy brush just to fluff it out, and just keep doing this until you're happy. I think it's always best to go in with little product first, and then, because you can always correct it rather than going with too much and you're like, oh shit, I messed up. So I just keep going back and forth until I'm happy. And now we're going to go in with the smoky wing. So I'm not a harsh gel liner type of gal. Very rarely. I prefer a soft smoky wing because I just think it looks nicer, more flattering, softer, and it's just easier to do. So you can either grab a angled brush, just something super thin, or like a really small domed fluffy brush. Completely up to you, but today we're going to go for an angled brush. And then I'm just going to take it in that darkest brown and just wing it out. What you want to do, so top tip for this, is to look directly in your mirror. Don't close your eyes need to be open, okay? And you just kind of want to follow your lower lash line up to the end of your brow, like that. So you've got the main bit, and then I'm just going to go back in with that same eyeshadow and then just connect. I go halfway up the line and then just drag it to my lashes. And because it's a smoky wing, you don't have to be too neat. That's what I love about smoky wings, is you can just be as messy as you want because it's going to be smoky. Okay, so that's the main shape of it. And then I'm just going to grab a small fluffy brush and grab that same colour, and this is just to smoke it out. So you just want to kind of do little wiggles with it, kind of like diffusing it just to make it softer. And then if you mess up, you can correct with concealer. That's what I love about a smoky wing using eyeshadow, is that you can correct it. So I'm not too bothered about how it looks out here at the minute because I know I can clean it up. And then I like to go about as far as the start of my pupil, so I don't go all the way in. I go like that far. Pop a bit of concealer on your hand, and then, I keep saying and then, get a sponge or a flat small brush, dip it in to your concealer, and then just correct underneath. Try and do it so you can see. Okay, sparkle. I've seen everyone go on about this. Sorry, Twix is just moving around if you can hear something. On TikTok, it is the Urban Decay Space Cowboy Moon Dust. Now, this is from 2019. I was like, I swear I've got it somewhere. This is the original packaging. So this is what we're going to use today because I've just seen everyone go on about it and I'm like, oh my god, it looks so pretty. Just like a really nice, subtle, wet sparkle. So I thought it'd be perfect for this kind of look. Oh my god, yeah. How stunning. Ooh, look at that. How nice. Quick tip if you want your eyelid to look bigger as well, is just, especially if you've got slightly hooded eyes, like me, is just bring the sparkle, or if you're using just eyeshadow, bring the light eyeshadow above your crease. So when you're just looking or just moving around, your eyelid looks so much bigger than it actually is. So yeah, but I'm just gonna do my mascara and then we'll be doing lashes together. So mascara is done. My absolute favourite, Lancome Idol, so good. Lashes, as I said, we're using half lashes. These are the Sculpted by Amy's Lash and Lift, I think they're called. So good. I think they're like £11. I have others in my kit, but obviously I'm not using them because I need them for people, whereas these are for me. They're really easy to use. They have like a really thin band, so you can't really see them once they're on, and they're really flexible, which is great. So we're just going to pop glue on, and then a tip, once you've glued them, don't put them on straight away. You need to wait for that glue to go tacky, otherwise if it's really wet it's just going to move around on your eyes, so you need to let them dry for about 30 to 60 seconds and then put them on the eye. I just use tweezers, to be honest. I find that easiest, and the same with the eyeliner. You need to keep your eyes open, but just hold your mirror down a bit so you can see where the lash is going to go. That is the easiest tip that I can give you. And then once you've got it on, just move it around to where it needs to be. Now for lips, we're going for red, we're going for glossy. When I do a red lip, I don't like to go in straight with a red lip liner. I like to go in with a brown, and my favourite brown is the Morphe Sweet Tea. I feel like, especially if you're not confident, this is the best way to do a red lip. It's kind of like colouring, so you colour the outside of the lines, and then you can go as crazy as you want once you've got your outline. So then for actual red lip liner, I'm going in with the, which I'm really gutted because they're not even available anymore, but this is my favourite. It's the KKW Beauty in, I don't even know what shade it is because it's come off, but this is such a nice red. And then I just go in everywhere that I put that brown, basically. Lip liner is done. Now I'm going to go in with the lipstick. This is the YSL in shade 28, I think. I think that's the shade. But I love this because it's got a really good shape to it, so you can be really precise. Ooh, cute. Now for the gloss. Love this gloss. This is the Ciate with Christine Quinn collection. Shade Villain, obviously. But it's really nice. Now, if you've messed up or want to clean up, same with the eyeliner. Grab a thin brush, bit of concealer, and just put it around the edges. And that will just make it look more prominent, more sharp. Yeah. So now we're pretty much done. I think this is when I like to look at the makeup and just add anything. I think I want a bit more blush, so I'm just going to go in with that berry shade here, just so it kind of ties in with the red lip a bit more. Do you know what I mean? I think that looks a bit better. And then just pop it on the outer corners of the eyes. Oh, one thing I love to do, this is not everyone's cup of tea, but I love to do it, is I'll just grab a brow pencil and just not refill, redefine my beauty marks or my freckles. I love this on a look. I think it looks so good. And if you have any spots, you just cover it with that. I think it's so good. Woo! I don't know, I just love it. That's a little bit spice. I think I'm going to add some glow to the inner corners of my eyes, like right in here. I'm just going to go in with that Vive palette. Oh, yes. Every makeup artist needs this tool, or if you love lashes yourself, it is a mini eyelash curler. It helps get into all the nooks and crannies. Rather than using like your standard size one and trying to get your false lashes in that, this is much better. So you just clamp just to squeeze your lashes and the false ones together, so you don't have that like line where you can kind of see your eyeshadow, your lashes and the falsies. And then once I've curled them, I'll go in with a mascara and just blend the lashes together. Oh, these lashes are so good. Oh, I feel so Christmassy. Lipstick on teeth. Get your finger. And then this will just get rid of any like loose lipstick as such that could potentially get stuck on your teeth. I think I learned that from Michelle Keegan actually. Could be wrong. So that is the finished look. I'm obsessed. That eye was so good. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'm now going to film my 2022 beauty favourites, which will be up after this. But yeah, I've really enjoyed being back. I feel so good. Yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah.